Hey guys, it's Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you back another Pokemon build series video. And already today we are back on track, back on schedule. This build was already done, so all I had to do was edit it and now voice it, and then I will be uploading it on time today, which is beautiful. For those of you who don't know, I did have a bit of issues with my game and my computer over the last couple of days, but I've sorted it out enough that I think I can make it through the next couple of days, get a bunch of work done, hopefully upload it, and then really, get in and pull things apart and figure out what's wrong with them. Because, it's not great, not fun to have moments where things don't work. But this is a build I did over on the stream. This is obviously Electabuzz, if you didn't read the title. Electabuzz is an electric type Pokemon. It kind of, it's got like a tiger pattern, I guess. So it's yellow and it's got these black stripy marks all over them, but they kind of look like bolts of lightning, or just like black stripes, black marks on it. And it kind of stands like Tigger, so it's got like a long tail and stands on its feet and has its arms not as feet. It's actually got like fingers, like human fingers. It's just kind of a little, every time I see Pokemon with human fingers, it's kind of a little off-putting. There's some of them where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, like animals like that would kind of, like if it's a monkey type Pokemon, like yeah, monkeys kind of have fingers, but like a tiger doesn't. It has a paw, so when I see a Pokemon with fingers, it really throws me off, and I just don't know how to feel about it, because it's like looking at somebody cosplaying a Pokemon, not someone, like not a Pokemon, which is again, just like, I don't know, breaks immersion for me a little bit. But, these are also fictional animals, so it makes sense that they are, well, fictional, and some of them do have fingers instead of paws and claws and such as. But yeah, I don't know. Originally for this Pokemon, I wrote Electrical Power Grid, which, I don't know if you guys know, I didn't realize this until the day I was building this, but an electrical power grid is actually the area in which the grid is. Like, it's where all the power lines are throughout your neighborhood. Like, that's the grid. The grid is where the power lines go. So I pivoted and decided to build a little weather station. So I also looked up weather station, and it turns out it's a little machine, like it's a little doodad thing. But I wanted to build like a place in which you go to record the weather and pass that on to the greater world, so that information can be known by the greater world. And so that's what I ended up doing, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was very interesting, very curious, something a little bit different, and I was inspired by an image which I believe was actually a kid's toy based on a weather station of a similar sort of vibe. And I really liked the whole red and blue thing that it had going on, which is something that I don't normally lean into, like bright, I don't want to say bright colour schemes like this, but I don't normally lean into colour schemes like this. So it was kind of fun to, work on something a bit unique and different. I did take a few, I don't want to say liberties, but I guess liberties. There's a few things I did a little bit differently to what the actual picture was. And that is that I decided to make it sort of a, like the curved bit to the right is actually like a concrete bunker, which is why it's got no windows, and then the little shed bit to the left is kind of like they've built this so that people can come visit and see what it's like, and here's how power stations work. Weather stations. Here are how weather station work, and maybe they do reports and stuff like that from the other side. But yeah, I really wanted it to feel like a concrete bunker on the inside, so it's actually set up so that if there is an extreme weather event, like it's flood proof, it's extreme wind proof, it's set up to last like X amount of time, so it's like the shipping container side of it will definitely be destroyed, And probably even the stuff that's on top of the concrete box, but this is like you're measuring real life weather events, and if something big and scary does happen, you can kind of stay there for a little bit. Like that, it's like it's got months of supplies or whatever, and backup energy and whatever. So maybe you could stay in here for like 2 months or something like that. And I doubt there's any issues that would cause someone to be trapped in here for 2 months, like any weather events, because I don't know, I've never personally, let me know if I'm wrong, but I've never personally experienced a weather event that has gone on for 2 months straight. I've dealt with, in Australia we have lots of flooding and lots of droughts. Now with a drought, they're not trapped in there. I understand droughts can happen for months, absolutely, but they're not trapped in there with a drought. Like, they can still go outside and leave in a drought. It could be really, really hot. It could be, dry. They could be very, very short on water. Absolutely get that. And, that's definitely something that can happen for months on end with zero break. But this is more about things that would cause them to be trapped inside. And I don't think a drought would cause you to be trapped inside. I think it would be something that you could get out. Like, you can walk outside if there's a drought. There's nothing stopping you, really. Maybe it's a bit hot and you don't want to, but, like, it's not like if you open the door, you're going to flood the entire place and drown. So, yeah, and again, same with floods and same with fires. Like, fires do rip through areas, absolutely, but the place that's on fire, like, there's only so much that it can be on fire before the fire goes out. So yeah, it's something that I'm not too, like, I think you could survive in here for a couple months, but I doubt you would have to survive in here for a couple months, maybe there's a radiation leak, maybe that's something that you'd have to stay in here for a couple months, and I feel like a concrete bunker would be a not terrible place to be in for a nuclear event, because, yeah, especially if it's thick walls. I mean, the walls don't look thick now, but we can pretend they're very thick, because we can't change the thickness of the walls in game. So yeah, let's just pretend they're very thick. Let's just pretend they are, people can be safe in here. So yeah, I don't know, it's very much a curious, interesting little build. I don't know, I talk about this a lot, about how a lot of my builds are kind of useless in terms of gameplay. Like, if you want to do any sort of legacy gameplay, it's kind of useless. Like, yes, technically you could live in this build. I don't know if it's fully playable. I know the bed you can get into for sure. The bathroom, I doubt there's anything in the bathroom that would stop you from being able to get in there. The kitchen you should be able to cook in, and that's really, like, do you really, like, for bare bones survival, do you need more? No, not really for bare bones survival. Like, you can live other ways, you can find other ways to take care of your other needs, as long as your bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen are available. Your Sims will just be sad and annoying, but they'll live, but yeah, like, it's still not exactly, like, maybe you do want to play that sort of gameplay, and it's, it is something that you can kind of transform into a long-term gameplay. Like, I say long-term, but, like, you can transform this build into a gameplay place. Like I said, kitchen should be usable. I believe, majority of the counters free. I believe there's only one counter I put clutter on. There's obviously the one that I put the sink in. But yeah, the curved piece, I don't think I put anything on. Where the sink is, that whole side, I think I keep clear. So there's definitely that side to prepare food on. And yeah, there's desks in here as well. I don't know if one of them is usable, but the second one should definitely be usable because of just the way it's sitting, and where it is. But yeah, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, I doubt people would be using this build in gameplay, and I'm not sad about that. Like, I'm not offended if you guys don't want to use it, because I I do build for me. I do build for this challenge. I do build for fun. It's sort of one of those things where it's like, it doesn't really matter to me personally if it's usable or not. I just want to have fun and share the silly little build that I've done. So yeah, I hope you do enjoy it, and you know, if you end up using it, definitely let me know. Because yeah, like I said, there's definitely usable items within this game. Like, you can definitely use the bed, you can definitely use the wardrobe, you can definitely use the bathroom, the kitchen. Pretty sure that's 100% usable. Because the stool that's in the corner might not be the one that's sort of out more in the open, should definitely be usable. The desk should be usable. The one that's right next to the door. The one in the corner, probably not. But if you're just living here with one sim, you know, like, you only need one desk, so it's fine. And yeah, as you can see, I think I just cluttered that one counter, so you do have 2 more working counter spaces. And yeah, I don't know, it's just something silly and fun and weird and wacky, and, you know, like, does anyone need this in the game? Absolutely not. But did I want to make it? Yeah, I just like building these weird things. And I do apologize, I said that only one counter gets cluttered, but apparently I put some sort of weird iPad thing on one of the cabinets. On one of the you saw me put the weird iPad down. But it's, again, it's not one of those things where, like, I know sometimes I've done cluttered builds where it's like you have to delete like 27,000 items just to be able to use one counter, because so many counters are just covered in clutter. But this is one item, and there are 2 more counters that are completely free. I know for sure I don't put anything on them, because I just don't want to clutter too much up. I've given myself the rule that I must have a minimum of 1 counter free, because yes, I want to build for myself, yes, I want to not be stressed and have fun, but if people want to download it, I don't want people to feel stressed about not being able to use counters. Now, the problem with that, I will absolutely recognize it, is that there might be builds where, like, yeah, sure, there's a counter free, but can my sim even get to that counter? So it's definitely something I'm working on usability for sure. And you know, if you see something that I've done that you're like, hey, that makes that thing not usable, please let me know, because I do want to take more into account so that I can be a bit more aware of my building and making sure that, yeah, if you want to use it, you can. So yeah, just even if I haven't done it and you see a lot of other people do it, I know the number one thing I hear people mention is the counter clutter, which is why I have that one counter rule, one clear counter rule. But yeah, if there's anything else that you notice people do, let me know, because I would 100% love to kind of keep that in mind, you know? And it also does help me not spend 3 hours cluttering one tiny little section of the room, which does save me a lot of time, absolutely a lot of time. It's sort of like an internal struggle for me, because I'm like, it looks blank and bland to me, like, it looks completely empty, like, why I want to clutter. But then thinking from a gameplay point of view, which I don't really do gameplay, I rarely do, yeah, it's something that, like, I build for me, yes, but I also build for people who don't want to build, who just want to download something and do gameplay. And it's like, well, if I'm being annoying and inconvenient in my builds, then I'm not actually doing the thing I want to do. So I'm definitely trying to balance making me happy and making the people who want to download it, you guys, happy. Which is why I always say, like, if you have something that you think I should do, if you have something that you think I would benefit in, you know, taking on board and thinking about when I build, definitely let me know. Like, I am not, like, if let's just use the kitchen counter clutter as an example, right? If I didn't do that and I was asking and you're like, I really just hate it when builders do this, go for it, tell me. Like, I'm not going to be offended even if I do it, you know? I want to make sure that, yeah, I'm trying to make it as accessible to as many people as possible as well. You know, I do have pack restricted builds for that reason. I accidentally pack restrict sometimes. I'm pretty sure this build, let me I take screenshots of the packs that I use, because I put it into a spreadsheet So I can actually quickly double check for you. No, this one is not, but 2 videos before this, so I think it's Scyther, that one had 5 packs. Like, 5. And I know some people might be like, 5 is still a lot, but yeah, sometimes I do a lot more than 5. So yeah, I do try and balance it out. I have some builds that are definitely for sure pack restricted. Like, I've been going through and taking screenshots of them so I can put them into my little spreadsheet, and you know, like, if you go to Farfetched, I do a restaurant and that is 3 packs. It's Snowy Escape, Get to Work, and Dine Out. And it's like, I feel like that is something that's pretty, you know, like that's pretty good to have as pack restricted. So I do try and get some pack restricted ones in, which is why the starter Pokemon, which we will be having in, I think the last day or 2, definitely the last day of this month, but maybe the last 2 days of this month. I can't remember if it's just 1 or 2, but we will have starter Pokemon there, and those will be pack restricted. So if you are looking for some pack restricted builds, we have them coming up. Also coming up next month is the A to Z challenge, which is a fun little challenge where each week I give you a new letter and you do a build or cast creation based on that letter. It can be a room, a build, and I limit it to 2 cast creations. So if you wanted to do like the Addams Family for A, it is limited to 2, but I'm not gonna not look at it if it's multiple, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy to, I've got a soft spot for the Addams Family, so if you do the whole Addams Family, I will definitely look at it. But if you want to just be relaxed and do 1 or 2, that's fine. Like, I want to make it as stress-free as possible. And the only rules are, one is a hard and fast rule, one is a guideline. The hard and fast rule, no CC. The guideline is you don't have to do every single build for the A to Z challenge. It is, think of it as 26 mini challenges, like separate from each other, but the only reason why they're connected is because the alphabet exists. So yeah, and that will start in the first week of July. I've still got to pick the day that I want it to go live, the day I want it to be like the due date for it and all that. And if you want to get started now, I can't stop you. I'm not going to know when you did the build. You just have to get it in by the deadline. And December, those last 4 builds, W, X, Y, and Z, they are due at any point in December or January. Because I know people get very, very busy, and I know they get very, very stressed towards the end of the year. So if you do want to end up doing those builds, or like all of them, there's plenty of time to get them done. And yeah, it's just sort of like a stress-free way to end it. But obviously, if you don't want to do them all, you don't have to do them all. Like, if you just want to do every second one, or a handful here or there, or whatever. And I do give out little ideas if you do get stuck, especially with those harder letters. There are some that surprise you. The letter E always gets me. But yeah, long story short, if you want to get join in on this challenge, I guess, definitely feel free to keep an eye out for that. I'll be trying to put it in as many places as possible so that you guys can access it basically everywhere that you want to. I'm actually trying to make a Notion page, which I will be linking when the challenge finally appears, you know? So you don't have to have social media or anything like that to participate. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.